Every journey starts with a choice, and mine is a bet. For 1 year, I'm gambling on energy over strategy. No more forcing and no pushing. Just the courage to show up and see what happens when reality becomes my playground. This isn't a podcast. It's a real-time experiment in the lab of my life. Welcome to the bet. Okay, I am grabbing another 10-minute spot before Pilates starts. It's Sunday morning, and I'm going to apologize if you hear any background noises. I can just already anticipate that they're coming because I don't want them to arrive. So that's almost like inviting them into my world, which brings me around to what I want to talk about. This week, all of my focus has been on strengthening my ability to detach from anything and everything that I think I need in order to feel secure. And the reason I'm doing that is not just for funsies, although I think it's a really good practice in general, is to work on our ability to detach. But it is because I've been having a lot of central nervous system reactions. I've been feeling unsettled in general about everything going on in the world. I think I by and large tune out the news, but there are some sources that I listen to. There are some podcasts that I listen to try to stay connected to what's going on. And I also just see at the university how things are changing and how cultures are shifting. And the way we've been doing things is not sustainable in general, just at this university and at educational systems at large. So it's just rocky, right? It feels destabilizing and uncertain. And yet, I have never felt more internally fulfilled by the work that I'm doing. So what I've been trying to do to support that, I two different practices I've done this week, and I thought I would share them with you because it's the first time I've done either one. I am part of a meditation group, and the meditation I learned this week is something called Tonglin. I don't know, I had never heard of it before. I'd certainly never done it. But in a nutshell, it's basically about visualizing the equanimity of power, of light and dark, black and white, up and down. We use the yin yang, I'm probably saying that wrong, symbol, right, to visualize how there's a darkness that's equally oppressing against the light, and they meet and oppose each other. And then in the middle of that symbol is the balance, the equanimity, and how there is also a little spot of darkness within the light side, and there's a little spot of light within the dark side. Like nothing is ever completely one way or the other. And just to backtrack for a minute, this is something else I wanted to say. The reason why I think I wanted to work on this, it is not just because it's a cool thing to be able to do. Like it's not just about it is about the central nervous system, but I think the more work that you can do to feel safe, the more expansion you will be able to experience in your life. I did a group talk yesterday. I did a group coaching call to one of the groups that I speak with. I do little mindset talks for them. They're not little, but we go deep into the science. And we talked all about how the central nervous system and the brain, the operating system of the brain, the number one directive is to keep us safe. And so if there's any part of us that doesn't feel safe, the brain is always going to create either resistance or temptation or try to get us to conserve our energy for whatever lies ahead so that it can stay in scanning mode, scanning for threat mode. Okay. And I'm not going to go through the whole talk I did yesterday, but basically when we stay too long in scan mode, right, the human was never meant to be in scan mode for extended periods of time. It's meant to be, we're just chill, and then a threat appears. We face the threat. We either win or we die, right? If we win, the threat goes away and our baseline nervous system returns to normal. And then there's another long span of time where we're chill again. Well, the world we're living in now, it's just threat after threat after threat after threat, because we are exposed to so much more information than the brain was ever designed to process. Okay, so the whole reason behind doing all of this is to enable us, myself, or yourself if you're going to engage in this, enable yourself to exist in a state of safety so that, biochemically speaking, you feel supported in taking action, in expanding, in receiving good things, in having abundance in your life, in locating success instead of scanning for problems, looking for what's going to pop up, thinking about what's going to try to take us down, being worried about what might happen in a time that isn't even here yet. All of that is leaking your energy, leaking your sense of your own personal power. So that's everything I do really has the central intention of how can I access more of my own personal power? How can I hold the power that I am on this planet to hold? I believe in my core that each one of us has a designated beam of power and energy that is meant to flow through us out into the world, through our gifts. And the work for us is to be able to build the capacity to hold that power and wield it and use it and let it enter us and pass through us. And when we don't feel like we can hold it, right, it gets stored somewhere else. I like to think of it as body fat. Sometimes if I gain a little weight, I'm like, oh, that's just some of my power. My body's holding it for me until I have the capacity to hold it myself, to use it in some other way. Or maybe it's stored in external factors, relationships we have with other people or blocks in our life, something. But you cannot give your power away. It's always being stored on our behalf, in my opinion. Whole nother talk for a whole nother day. Before I go into that, we think about, in typical meditation, when we're working with the breath, we think about breathing in all of the goodness, letting it go into us, and then breathing out everything that no longer serves us. That is how I have always practiced breath work. This was the first time. Tonglin specifically focuses on breathing in everything we've been resisting. Everything that we want to just be over and done with, or that we're afraid of facing, or let me just get my way through this as quickly as possible. The uncomfortableness, the irritants, the frustrations, breathing that in and visualizing it as a smoky black cloud, breathing that in and then breathing out goodness. And while you are doing that, as you're breathing it in, we were taught to visualize our heart, like sending that black smoke of everything we're resisting through our heart center, having that crystallize it into this white beam of light, and then breathing that out into the world. So we are literally transforming everything we resist, everything we try to avoid, all of the icky feelings, the emotions, the stuckness, the heaviness, the pain, for me, annoyances and frustrations of life. That's what I was focused on. Welcoming that in, saying, I can take it, give it to me. Let me breathe it on in. And then watching that transform into white light and then sending it back out into the world. Because essentially, we're all plugged into that same universal energetic force. So I found that very powerful. And the other practice I just did, I was out on my morning walk before I leave for Pilates here, and I was doing a visualization of it. I make it sound like I just spend all my time doing these, these energetic practices. I don't. I isolate them to these, usually when I'm out walking and doing things, that I realize that, boy, it just sounds like I sit around doing all this energetic work. I don't know why I felt the need to put a disclaimer there. I should check that out. So on my walk, I was thinking about if I took a very similar kind of practice of this, but another angle of it was if I were left with nothing, how could I still feel whole? If every single thing I know and love were taken from me, could I still feel like I had everything? So I imagined like losing all my relationships, losing my job, losing my home. And I was like walking by this beautiful bush and tree at the time. I was like, yeah, I'd still have this beauty. I could still look at nature. And I was like, take it a step further. What if you went blind and you couldn't see anything anymore? I was like, ooh, I would have the memories. I could pull up the memories of how this cactus looks right now. And I'm like addicted to clouds. I just love clouds. It's like I could still remember the clouds. And I was like, take it further. What if you had a brain injury and you had no memory of anything anymore? And you were just sitting in this gray, sterile room with nothing in it. Nothing. No stimulation whatsoever. And I was like, oh, could I be happy in that? And for whatever reason, this image popped in. I'm like, yeah, because I could still feel a thread, just a single thin thread connecting me to the light that powers everything. And that would be enough for me. I could be happy just feeling like I'm connected by a thread to the light that created me, to the source of energy that created everything. I'm a part of that. You guys, how woo do I sound right now? Remember the episode Crack Like a Duck? This is what the hell I was talking about. This is the kind of space I let my mind go to. And I do it not because I'm some spiritual being. I mean, I guess I am. We all are, right? I do it because it allows me to feel my power internally, separate from anything external could ever give me. And when you plug into that, you are able to take yourself anywhere you want to go because you realize I am now safe. I have always been safe. And even if I'm sitting in a cold room, naked in the gray darkness and can't think of anything, I would have a thread connecting me to that which created me. There you go. That's the exact techniques I have used to move myself forward this week, to continue to build everything that matters to me in this world. In fact, I feel more committed than ever to do that. Next episode, I'm going to update you on all of the metrics that happened this month. It's exciting times around here. And I'm probably going to have some other news for sure to drop on you next week. So there you go. I'm right at time. And I'm not even going to edit this episode. I am not going to edit this episode at all. That's how much I've grown. I don't even care if there's repetitions on here somehow, or usually I shorten gaps if I think I'm pausing too long to speak. I'm not doing any of that. Because just this morning, so driving back from breakfast with Mike, I was getting all like antsy about, I still got to record an episode of The Bet. I still got to do this, and I got to edit, and I don't want to be up late tonight, and I got to do my meal prepping. I got to go to Pilates, all of that noise. And I remembered I could have an episode drop in at any moment, just like I did last week. And sure enough, it happened on my walk. And I have the perfect amount of time to record it now. And why do I have to make this thing any harder? It's not even about making a fucking podcast episode. It is about showing up here for myself every single week and documenting what it took, what I faced, what I had to work myself through, and celebrating that. Yay. I'm so proud of myself. I'm not going to edit this. I don't even know if I left room to put in the little opening ditty. We might have to just start with that one. Okay, sending love to all of you out there. Thank you for all your messages. I just love hearing from you guys and cheering you all on, as always. Go bet on yourself.